Halo Infinite, a game revealed in 2018, one of the most highly anticipated Halo titles. Some, including myself, have been waiting for this game since the launch of Halo 4. The game was delayed in August of 2020, and as of recording this, original release date for the game would have been next week. So, what went wrong? Why is the marketing stopped? How has the community responded? And what should 343 do? We're going to answer those questions, or at least try to, in this video. So the problem, a lot of the information we've gotten from Halo Infinite has come from toy leaks, product tie-ins, and concept art. Some of the earliest examples of this were from the Toy Fair in January or February of this year, where we got to see designs for, first of all, the multiplayer Spartan, the Grunt, the Elite, the Jackal, all of those things. We had product tie-ins like the whole thing with the Chips Ahoy, with the armor coatings, and then we've gotten a little bit of information from concept art. The only real content we have is from the July reveal, and it received a lot of backlash due to the graphics, and even some community members didn't like some of the features like Sprint. So this has caused frustration in the community, and some community members are calling for an end to this content drought that we're in. So what's the content drought movement? It was started by Sean W., where he said if we get enough of these big influencers, Halo influencers, to come forward and ask 343 for things like concept art, behind the scenes content, screenshots, game clips, things like that, then they'd give it to us, and then we'd have more content. But here's a problem with that. Well, I don't think it's bad necessarily to want content or ask for content. There are three main reasons why we don't need to do that right now. The game is not ready. All eyes are on this game, and the promotion cycle is not ready to start. So we're going to dive into these 3 points in this video. So, the game is not ready to show. So right here, we have this tweet from James Hull and Clobril. And I brought this one up because I knew a lot of people were going to bring this up when I said the game's not ready. So, I wanted to bring this up, just put it right in front of all y'all. So, pretty much James is asking, how confident are you that Halo's going to release in 2021 based off of Chris Lee leaving? And Clobril says the game is more or less content complete. Now they can focus on technical aspects. I think Halo Infinite is going to come out in 2021. So a lot of people look at that content complete and say, whoa, hold up. Single player is done. They look at Unisheck doing that little meme and saying, when you come across Escherum's speech while playing campaign, they're like, oh, they're testing it. The game's ready. No, doesn't mean necessarily the game's ready. If you look at it still, he says they need to focus on the technical aspects of this game. So when it says content complete, I really believe that is saying that the assets are pretty much done. The layout of all the campaign maps, cutscenes, things like that are done. But the game's not necessarily running 100% smooth. The polish on the graphics might not be there. That idea kind of feeds into this tweet from Clobril, where he says fans really think they want Halo news on Halo Infinite, but what fans actually want is they want to see the game in a better shape. There are only two possible scenarios here. We give them the time that they need to develop the game, or we get another preview with the tech not being ready. I choose one even if it hurts today. And so there were a lot of people, and I tried to warn people, they were expecting news on the 10th. And I'm like, dog, I don't see it. This is a celebration live stream. And so people gave their hopes up, and they got disappointed. Because, bottom line, this game is not quite ready to show. I don't know how long it's going to take, but all I know is right now is not the time for it. And honestly, the last thing you want right now is for people to be talking about Halo Infinite when it was supposed to launch this coming up week. You want to focus on the console that's here and the games that are here. Since Halo Infinite's everywhere on the box and all that stuff, people are going to think this game is coming out right now. And we're going to talk about that later. So I got this quote from an article I'll link in the description that talks about different stages of game development. So I think the game's most likely in beta. So at this point, all the content and assets are integrated into the game, and the team should be focused on optimization rather than adding new functions or features. Right now, I believe they're probably working on optimization. You got to think they got to make this run on an original Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and then they got to make it work on PC and all these different graphics cards and CPUs and all of that. They got a lot of different systems they got to optimize this game for. And they're in a new engine. This game is open world. They're using a different kind of lighting system. They're not using baked lighting. They're using a global illumination. They have a lot of things that they're doing that are different than what they've done before. So they need as much time as they can get. And so right here, my man Craig, he was asking, why haven't we seen more about this game? It was set to release 14 days from now. You guys said you wouldn't turtle up, but you have. I'm just asking. And community manager Unishek, he says he disagrees. This was right after they had explained the codings. They showed the renders of the codings and also vehicle codings, and then they also took a lot of time to follow up and clarify different things on Twitter. This is a sentiment I keep seeing where people are like, this game was set to be released 14 days from now. This game was set to be released a week from now. Bottom line, the game was delayed, y'all. All right? And whether this game comes out in spring, summer, fall, or gets delayed into 2022 for some reason, the release date's not right now. This game is not ready. Also, we're going to go into this next point. All eyes are on this game. It's not just the Halo community, okay? So, gaming press, the general press, as soon as any detail it comes out about this game, everyone's on it, okay? And so the current perception of the game right now is it has bad graphics, it has microtransactions, which the only reason why the microtransactions was revealed, well, we already knew microtransactions back in 2018, but the coding system was revealed is because of the pre-existing promotions they had when they thought the game was going to be ready for launch. And the community asked for deeper info on that, and they got it, and it wasn't something they wanted. And that's because it was taken out of the context of how they wanted to reveal it originally. Now you might think, well, this is a flaw in marketing. Here's the thing though. They had set this stuff up with these companies and these promotions way in advance. You have to do this stuff way in advance. So, the game is not ready to show off, but they have these promotions that they sort of can either ignore or they can explain them like the community has said. But they're not ready to show off multiplayer or single player just yet, okay? So you might be saying, yes, but the public perception is the exact reason why we need to see more. They need to control the narrative. Yes, but actually no. Here's why. Imagine this. 343, they drop a bunch of Infinite news. Or they even drop a moderate amount of Infinite news. People say, okay, but when is launch? Games in this day and age, modern games marketing, they have shorter promotion cycles than in the past, okay? And consumers, they need a release date to look forward to. If they don't have that, then they don't have that release date to latch onto, then people are just going to forget about your game. This game is not just for Halo fans. It is marketed towards just average gamers that, like to hop into these games. They don't necessarily want to spend $60 investing on a game. You see this with Fortnite and Warzone and Apex. It's going to be that market, okay? Whether you like it or not. And honestly, I think this is a very good thing for Halo, as long as they handle it well, because it brings a lot more people into the franchise. And like I might talk into another video, there might be ways they can actually bring people in and get them interested in the older games as well, and sort of get them kind of anchored down in this community. But that's not what we're talking about right now. So if they start dropping more info within 4 months or so release, and they have that release date locked in, they could build that momentum. But if they start giving us details, they start telling us a lot about customization, they start telling us a lot about campaign, they start telling us a lot about multiplayer with no release date, you're just going to lose all of that momentum. Here is my speculation on how they might be handling this. Now, I'm not an expert. This is just me looking at how other games have worked and kind of seeing what 343 might do and why we might just need to kind of chill out, enjoy Xbox Series X launch and Series S launch, play some games on Game Pass, and just kind of wait for this to kind of blow on over. So, I feel like 343, once they have a release date, internally, are going to start bringing some more details out. They might give us some high quality renders of some of these characters and the brutes and the jackals and all the enemies, maybe some marines, like giving us some renders, some screenshots and stuff like that. You might be saying, but isn't that what you said we didn't need right now? Yes, because we don't know when this game is coming out. And what I'm saying is if they start doing this, they could be indicating, okay, we're gearing up for launch. We're gearing up for this, okay? The first thing people are going to ask, and the first thing you're going to see on articles, if any news is there, is there's no release date. We don't have a release date yet. So, they start sprinkling these things out. They have a release date internally. They know they can meet their milestones. They're getting towards the finish line. So then, 3-ish, 4-ish months from launch, they start showing a new campaign reveal. They show us more of the open world. They show us if they got the graphics pretty good. They show us these updated graphics that look great. They show us all of that, and then they give us our release window, okay? Spring, summer, fall, whenever. They give us that window, right? And then we're like, okay, this thing's coming soon. This thing's coming soon. Then, a month or two later, they show off multiplayer. They show off whatever new big mode they have, because they probably have a Battle Royale, Warzone 2.0. They probably have some kind of different mode along with the arena that I'm sure they're focusing on just because of what Bonnie Ross has said about Halo 5 and how they handled Halo 5, and it was very arena focused. So, they do that, and then here's what I think they should do. I'm not sure if they will, but if they can't get a beta or a flight, which I imagine will still have flights later in Halo Infinite, this is a 10-year game, we'll probably have flights for new features, new modes, weapon balancing, they might add new weapons. We're going to have that. But for the initial game, if a beta is not possible, get Halo community members and influencers, along with gaming influencers that are outside of the Halo circle, get them in, get them streaming this game, playing this game, talking about this game, and all at this time with the multiplayer, you give them the solid release date. You know, you say July 25th. You say whatever day it is. You give them that release date. And then you have these people talking about the game, playing the game. People can see it. It's building up a lot of hype. And all that hype can be directed towards the release date. So that's sort of my thoughts on this whole thing. I really think if we keep getting info on stuff, even little snippets, even though the community might like it, or it could cause more controversy, the general perception of this game is going to be, okay, it's still the delayed game. We don't know a release date. It's got microtransactions, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff's going to stay there. But if the game is good, and I think that's what people are afraid of, is the game's not going to be good, and that's why they want info. If the game truly is good, it can stand on its own, then if they give us a solid reveal for multiplayer and campaign, then all of that negative stuff is going to brush over, okay? Because we're going to be talking about how cool this game is, okay? If the game is not good or is lackluster, we're going to still be having these conversations. So the best thing they can do is just focus on getting this game to the finish line, getting it how it needs to be, how they want it to be, and then showing us when they can reach their milestones and they have this set release date, because everything's going to circle back to that. So, final thoughts. I think a lot of people are afraid this game's not going to be good, and I'm one of those people who's cautiously optimistic about this game. But I think if we wait this out and we let the marketing team at this multi-billion-dollar company do their jobs, because they have a plan. I mean, these people aren't stupid. We don't need to act like we are smarter than them, okay? And act like we know what's going on inside of their studio. I think that's pretty arrogant to do that. And what I did right here is just, I looked at what has been done before and I said this might be how they do it. I didn't say this is how they need to do it. I think that they should be transparent and give us info. But like, this might work. This might be what they're doing. Or they might have other plans. The fact is, I don't know what's going on in the studio. I don't know what's going on in the business. All I know is I love Halo and I want this game to be good. And I think the community needs to chill out. We need to play some Halo. And we need to be talking more about like what we think could be in this game, rather than talking about the lack of info. So that's sort of my 2 cents. This has been my first very ratchet video. I might have more in the future with better production value maybe, but I just did not have the time today to really sit in Premiere and do a bunch of stuff. So very busy, but I hope you enjoy it.